All
Hi
right.
everyone.
Hello, everyone. Glad to see you on this. I said rainy, gloomy Sunday. So I am in the chat. I am going to share the document that I'm going to put up on the screen in a minute. But that way you guys have access to it easily without trying to find it. I had moved the I moved them around a little bit. So previous sessions are just below the current one so that you don't have to scroll to find the current one. And then after the older ones, we're going to have the future sessions listed here. So we don't have too many left. And I was actually just talking to Sarah on Savannah, do you have a question?
Yeah, did we
Go
finally
for it.
decide when that next meeting is going to be, or is it still in process?
Well, it was like split 50-50. So, I don't know if did you guys answer Jasmine, Reese, and Shriel? Did you guys answer whether next week, which is Mother's Day or the Sunday of Memorial Day weekend, which one works better for you?
I said like next weekend.
Next weekend works better for you. Okay, let me see if I can pull that page up. Oh,
Probably
Bailey
the
is
same for me next
okay.
weekend.
Okay. I got Bailey. I'm gonna pull up and see if I can find the answers that I had. So yeah, so so Savannah, you said the Memorial Day weekend. Reese, you said this current weekend, and then Abby said um Memorial Day weekend. I thought I let Bailey in. And then so now I've got another one for this coming weekend. Um, Bailey, do you have a preference on Mother's Day weekend versus Memorial Day Sunday? Which day
Uh,
works better for you?
Memorial Day works better for me.
Okay, still split 50-50. Johanna, what about you? You said this coming weekend. Shriel, which one works better for you?
This upcoming weekend, I just voted.
Okay. Okay. So, you guys, it's 50-50. All right. So, regardless of what we pick, I will still record it and we'll go. I think I'm going to go with the one that was currently scheduled as Mother's Day. And I know that it's not going to work for you, Savannah, but I will record it and
No, it's okay. I'm able to do both of them. It would just be preferred to do Memorial Day for
yeah.
me, but I'm fine with Mother's Day.
Yes, same with
Okay.
me.
All right. Yeah, push Mother's Day to a brunch, hopefully, and not dinner. Okay, so let me then share my screen so that we're working off of seeing the same thing. Okay. And so today's focus is to focus a lot on communication. And I was saying that I had spoken to Sarah, and she said that there are some things coming up for you as part of the pageant, some fundraising that you need to do, and what did she say? So you're raising money for the benefit, and you're also trying to raise some or fundraise and get some ads for the pages for the program. So part of today's focus, the difficult conversations or conversation practice, we will do some of that as a role play. So when we met last time, we went over the activities for today, which were going to be, what are your top values? And I got a couple emails of top values, but what did the group of us here, what did you come up with as your most important value? Go ahead, Savannah.
Mine was inclusion and being a light in somebody's life.
I love that. And that I feel like is a theme for you, the light and you've shared that
Yeah,
before. So good. I
because
love that you kept that
yeah,
in there. How about Johanna? What did you pick?
I chose friendship because friendship's very valued for me, especially not just with friends at school, but with my family and the people I meet throughout my life.
Yeah, and like family and friendship, they can kind of be interchangeable. And so like how you view friendship can be very family oriented, or how you view family can be friendship oriented, because sometimes we bring our friends so close into our family, sort of centering them there. So I like that very much. Bailey, what did you pick?
I picked love.
Hmm.
I think love encompasses a bunch of very important qualities, and I think if you have love for someone or something, it enables you to work through a lot.
I would agree, absolutely. Shreel, what about you?
I think a big value for me is service. I would say service because during my time in my sorority, that was one of our like main core values. And I think that like learning how to give back kind of not only like makes you feel good, but it shows you like you learn more about yourself by learning from others. And I think that before we're quick to judge other people in certain situations, like you kind of get to feel what it's like to be in their shoes and like be empathetic. So
Yeah, yeah. So service really does also kind of encompass so much, and you have to be like willing to support, walk in somebody else's shoes, and I think that's fantastic. And Reese, what is your core value?
I think honestly I have a lot of core values, but um as mine, I picked love as well. I just feel like it's such an important thing, not just like showing love to others, but like also others showing love towards you, and just the way that they treat you and the way that you treat them can be a huge impact on so many people.
Yeah, and also what about self-love, right? So like if we
Yeah.
can't love ourselves, then it's really hard to truly love others. And so I think that that's a really important one. Again, definitely. Where do you think your values truly come from? And I want to share a short story about my core values. And pardon me, hold on one second. I coughed this out. So, yeah, so think about where you think that your core values are coming from. So core values change as you get older and things change in your life. And so about 5 years ago, I did this for the first time, and I determined that integrity was so, so important to me. And the reason I realized how valuable this value was for me was because in so many places that I was existing, that value of integrity was missing. And so for me, it became really, really clear to me how important it meant that the people that I was interacting with, the people that I was working with, the people that I was communicating with demonstrated integrity. And when they didn't, I knew that my own core value was being challenged. And it helped me understand why I was struggling in certain relationships. So as you think about where your core value may have come from, also think about how it really defines how we interact with certain people, right? So if thinking of Savannah in your inclusion, if you're in an environment where you're feeling like inclusion is not something that is valued in the environment that you're working in, the first thing you're going to do is probably try to work towards building inclusion. But if it keeps coming up as a challenge, then it's going to cause you to struggle with other areas and communicating with others. And sometimes we have to figure out how we navigate when that core value is missing, right? So when you all look for jobs, or when you're looking for that partner in your life, knowing what your core value is, and it doesn't have to be their core value, but it has to be important enough to them that it matters and that it connects to you. So, let me start with Johanna. You said friendship. And so where do you think that core value came from, and where do you see it challenged the most in your life?
So I think it mostly came from just growing up. I struggled making friends. I was very different compared to some kids. Like most of the kids in my class were obsessed with soccer or other sports. I was terrified of soccer. Played it one time, got hit with a ball in the face, never wanted to do it again. And of course, you have those cliques in schools. And so I always struggled just to get in with those crowds and be able to make friends. And so I think that's just why it's become such an important thing to me to value friendships that I have and keep them. And I think one place where I seem to struggle a lot with was probably at school mostly, or like specifically on team sports. Sometimes, like, yes, you have to work as a team, but you have teams that struggle with friendships, and you can tell just by the way they play together. And I think it's hard, but if they keep working together, it gets better. Such as like at the beginning of my cheer season, I know none of us really got along, and it was rough at first, but throughout the season we got better and we all created these bonds and we got greater friendships, and it helped a lot. Our routine got way more cleaner because of we learned to work with each other's mistakes and each other's strengths. And so it's just an important value to me.
I love that. And I think you really, what you said resonated a lot with me, of struggling to make friends, and that need for belonging. And sometimes that can also be a core value that is tied to friendship. So I really, really appreciated what you shared. Shreel, what about service? Where do you think that came from? And where do you see it as a space where maybe you struggle with that?
Like where I struggle with service.
Not you per se, but like in a place in where you feel like it's lacking, and either you're working to build it, or you're feeling like, oh, it's causing me a lot of discomfort because it's missing.
Yeah, 100%. So I think that I started doing service when I was a child. So my dad always taught me to give back. We have this Jewish value. It's called, I'm not sure if you've heard about it. It's pretty popular. It's called Tikkun Olam. So Tikkun
No.
Olam translates to repairing the world. So that's actually what my CSI is about. Yeah. So he always taught me to give back because he said that like in our religion, like it's taught that like if you give back, like more will come back to you, like in a good way, in like a sense, which I think that's also in the Bible, I'm pretty sure as well.
Yes. Yes.
So that's super important to me. And then like that's where it started. And I think that where I really developed even more service was in college. I think that you develop skills twice in your life. In your young adulthood, I think that the first is as a child with who you surround yourself with, like who you're developing around, like your family, your friends. And then I think a second time is when you're in college and you learn to live alone for the first time. So I think that by joining a sorority, I was kind of like, what is like I didn't really know exactly what a philanthropy was until I joined an organization. And then we kind of, got to learn how helping people and doing certain things like bigger than yourself can be very rewarding. And it's funny because the sorority that I chose, we actually work with the Maine Seacoast Mission. How funny
Hmm.
is that? Like out of all organizations, I had one that was like based in Maine, and I went to school in Florida. So I just thought it was like
Oh,
meant to
that's
be.
so funny.
Yeah. The organization is based in Maine, so super cool. I think that where we lack a lot of service is I think that sometimes people feel pressured to do things because they feel like it's being pressured on them and they're forced to doing stuff. Like there was this organization in college where we would like donate money to kids in hospital and like in need and stuff, which was amazing. And I of course wanted to help out with it. But I feel like some people were pressuring others that if they don't donate, they're a horrible person. And I don't think that's the case. I think that not everybody has the money or necessarily the time to do things. And I think that we shouldn't like judge other people based on what they can give back. And I think another issue with service is people aren't completely educated on certain topics, so they're hesitant to do things. Yeah.
That's awesome. I had a couple of things come up for me as you were talking. And one sort of comes back to the Miss Maine Scholarship Program in general, which is a nonprofit. And when we are nonprofits, we have what's called a board. And when you have a board, you're not in charge of the everyday moments of the nonprofit, but you're part of that system of building that program up. And I think that's another area of which we can give back that seems a little bit out of the norm of giving money or giving time. It is still giving time, but it is giving time in a different way. And then the other thing that you shared that made me think of something is that there are so many different ways that people give. And a lot of times the pressure is to give money, right? And that that lack of understanding that there are so many different ways you can give time, you can volunteer, you can support in other ways. And so I think that was really good. And the last thing that you said about when you give, you get back. It reminded me of a story that I heard about the Dead Sea. And the Dead Sea is literally that system because there's no circulation and there's no um, in and out. And so that idea of thinking about the Dead Sea, because there's nothing coming in and nothing can come out, right? So if I'm just seeing myself as I can't give, I have nothing to give, there is still something coming into my life, right? And so I'm just not recirculating that money and so or time or energy. And so I love to put that thought out there for all of you. So thank you for all of that. Bailey, can you share where that value came from you and where in your life you find that love is lacking in a way that causes you a challenge?
I think it came from two places. I grew up very religious, and well, my relationship with religion is complicated now.
Mhm.
Uh, I learned that real, true love is unconditional, and I was shown that from my family. And like I said before, unconditional love holds a lot of amazing qualities. Love is patient, love is kind, it's selfless, it's accepting, it's understanding. And that's just something that gave me so much strength throughout my
Mm.
entire childhood. And that's something I want to give to people that I truly care about. And really, there's a lot of places where I don't see that. And it really upsets me because I see love all around me all the time, but it's not always unconditional love. It can be selfless, it can be selfish, sorry. It can be
Yeah.
conditional, it can be shallow, and some place that really, I think, where it hurts me the most is at my job, because I work with kids, and I can see other teachers who like love their students, but they're not very patient with them. They don't try to understand them. And I even see that with some of the parents, that some of the parents, I have one dad, for example, he won't let his son wear hair ties at school, and it makes me worried, like what's going to happen when this little boy grows up if he's not conforming to his father's idea of masculinity. What's going to happen to their relationship?
I think that point of conditional love is so powerful to highlight. And I think I really just want to thank you for that, because it's so often that we forget that we put conditions on certain things, and to reflect on the love that we're giving others. Are we putting conditions on that? And so I just love that you added that. So for all of us to reflect a little bit on where love is in our life, and is there conditions that are placed in those spaces. So thank you for sharing that. Savannah, can you share a little bit about inclusion, where it comes from, and where I'm very curious about, because I think it's missing in a lot of places, but is there any place that you can share that where it impacts you?
Yeah, so this is going to be shockingly similar to what Johanna said because it relates to sports teams. So
It's okay.
in 8th grade, I signed up for softball, and it was during COVID, and I just wanted to try something new. But since I was the oldest in the school, I was one of the only 8th graders, and it was my first time trying. My coach never really gave me a chance and kind of excluded me from a lot of things. And I was on the bench too, like as an 8th grader, which was kind of embarrassing. But um the coach's treatment of me kind of led to the teammates' treatment of me, and I felt really excluded a lot. I was never really picked for, like, when we were doing warm-up drills, they're like, pick a partner. I was always the one left out. And I'm not gonna sit here and just dwell on like this happened to me, this happened to me. But for a while when I was in there, especially going back home, like, and just like during COVID, all I had was really myself, and just having that experience with people my age and that happening, it was really tough. And um I did end up quitting in the middle of the season because of that, but having time to reflect over that just made me realize that instead of running away from my problems, I can just make that impact on other people and prevent them from feeling that way. Because even if it's somebody that I don't really know, I want to be the kind of person to, like I said, be a light in their life and make sure that they don't feel included or excluded.
Yeah.
Um, I always think about the people who have made a difference or have made me feel included in an environment, because after that, I was really like going into high school, I was really hesitant about joining groups of people and making friends. Because this was the same school that, you know, that was in middle school, and it was the same environment. And but I just want it, I don't want anyone else to feel that way, because it is a really horrible feeling. And from there, that's where I think that inclusion kind of lacks the most, is in schools, especially with peers and people that have known each other and been going to the same school forever. I feel like that's like growing up with the same people, inclusion or exclude oh my gosh, exclusion can definitely happen. And I'm also going to tie this into a little bit into what Bailey was saying about working with
Mhm.
kids. I I like to be a good friend and even just a good supporter to my own peers, but last summer I had a seasonal internship with my local Boys and Girls Club, and I worked every day Monday to Friday with kids ages 5 and 6. And I noticed that there was also a lot of exclusion from kids, from whether it was from each other or even from the staff, because it is a very like how do I say this nicely? Um
Like the haves and the have-nots, would you say? Is that?
like it's a very the place that I worked at was a little cliquey,
Okay.
even for young children, like the staff, the relationships with each other, as well as the staff and student relationships. And I looked at the kids and I gave them all a chance, of course. But I noticed, like, I looked at the ones that kind of reminded me of my younger self and how I felt. And I just, I made sure to get to know everyone and made sure that they felt heard and understood. And it makes me feel better about myself at the end of the day.
Yeah, oh my gosh, you guys are all hitting really, really awesome topics and tying things together in so many ways. And I think there's so much value in what we practice and what we model is exactly what the people that we are leading, whether we know it or not, right? So you were on a team and you said your coach behaved in a certain way and the teammates followed that behavior. You talked about the adults in this Boys and Girls Club acting with cliques and the kids following suit. And Bailey, I'm curious to know if I know that there's some challenges among the staff um in your workplace, and I'm wondering if you see students sort of following similar patterns because we model, and those of us who are in a leadership position, what we model, others will follow. And so I think you are all working towards an incredible leadership position. Some of you will earn a title. Not everybody will earn a title, but you will all leave this program having developed as a leader. And now, whether you have the title or not, you will be a representative and you will own your own leadership and your own courage, and what you do, others will follow. And last but not least, Reese, tell us a little bit of where love came in and where maybe you see it struggling in areas.
Love has always been really, really important to me. And honestly, it started since like I was old enough to like honestly communicate with my parents and my sister. Because for a while my sister lived with us and we would all decorate. Well, my example of this is when we would decorate for Christmas, because I always remember like the songs we would play, and we would always bake cookies first and then we'd decorate our Christmas tree. And so first it was me, my mom, and my sister. And we had our two little dogs with us, and we'd all get under the tree and take a picture every year. And then my sister moved out, and then it was me and my mom and my dad, and then we would do it. And that happened for a while, honestly, until my nieces were born, and then they would also come over and do it with us. So I feel like love has like always been like a thing that's surrounded me. And it might not always be like the same because, as I said, like my sister would move out, but it still had the same feeling when I would go and decorate for Christmas, because it would also help me remember all the years before that we had done the exact same thing. And tradition, I don't know, I just feel like that's a really great reflection of love for me, because I remember the traditions and I remember how I felt in the time that I was around my family. And I don't think love just has to be about family. I think it can also be like about my friends, because like playing on a sports team and being a leader of my lacrosse team as the team captain, I feel like we all show each other love. And especially like when we win a game, we all get so excited and we all kind of like run up to our goalie. And I feel like that's like a big description of love too, even though it doesn't have to be verbally saying like the word love. It's just a feeling to me. And I feel like a lot of people can struggle to find like places where they are loved, or just in general, like where they are included, I guess, because some people might not grow up with like the same parents that I had, where we all bake cookies together, or friends on a lacrosse team where they can all play together and get super excited and have like team dinners. So I feel like, to me, in school is like a hard thing for people to find love, or people like my age, and of course obviously older, but I see it as kids my age because I notice it a lot in school. There's just people being quiet or like looking like sad and alone, and they don't have people to sit with at lunch or something. So I always try to invite them over to sit with me because obviously I feel bad. And I went through that too a while ago, like in 8th grade and 7th grade. I didn't really know like where I fit in, and my family like always helped me feel like welcome, but not everyone has a family like that to feel welcome. So I want to be a person for them to help them feel welcome everywhere.
Yeah, I think you bring up a couple of thoughts for me. One, you made me think of the things that we do now in school to try and avoid those feelings of exclusion. I just think of elementary school where they have the friendship benches and things like that. And so it's not unique to any one person. And in fact, I think we all, when we feel that exclusive or that exclusion, we feel like we're the only one it ever happens to. And so just even listening to those of you who have been here today, like you've all sort of alluded to that feeling of not being part of something or not belonging. And so it's so interesting for me to think about when I was a teen, how I felt excluded in certain places and feeling like I was the only one that was excluded. And, that perception, all of you are in this pageant, you have taken this giant risk of putting yourselves out there and saying, I believe that I am confident enough, wonderful enough that I can stand on this stage and go through this experience. Anybody outside looking in is going to say, wow, they must be so amazing. And yet all of us have expressed a little bit of vulnerability in that, life has had some ups and downs, and we all have struggled, and we all feel the same things. Like we all have that same feeling of exclusion or isolation at some point. And it's just so nice to be a part of a group where we can share those things. Shreel, go for it. You have raised your hand.
So I think like even today, what kind of worries me is like my platform is like going to be used to combat anti-Semitism and kind of like show Jewish values and like how I can bring those in the world. So like I like worry about two things. I worry about the first thing is like I don't want anyone to ever feel like I'm pushing religion or anything on them. Like I'm very secular myself. Like I believe in it more culturally than religiously, and like I would never want to push anyone to feel a certain way. And number two, I think with everything going on, like in Israel, a lot of people, put the two together. And I think that they like to assume things. And I think that that's just going to worry me a lot because, like, although I am Israeli, that is not my goal right now to like talk about that and get political. And like that kind of like itself, people see it as like a taboo, I guess. So that worries me personally a little bit.
So tell us a little bit of how that worry or that the outside influences are helping you sort of navigate this, because I think all of us are standing on a platform in which, if we stand on that platform, we're standing on that platform because something's missing, because we need to tell people about the things that we're talking about, which means that there's a contrary belief out there of what we are standing for. I think if I think of inclusion, right? There's this Bailey mentioned it, this father who believes that their child needs to conform to something, and friendship, right? So if I want to be friends with somebody, does that mean that I have to exclude others? And sometimes, as we talk about in schools, that means yes, and that's for self-preservation. And when we're all in self-preservation, we have to end up excluding people. And so how do we break those barriers down? You're taking a stand because of something that is so important to you, and then all of this other stuff is happening around, which may or may not have been like coincidental or causation of where you're standing. But we all are going to have to, when we take a stand, it means that we have to stand up against somebody else. And so talk a little bit about your worries or your concerns about doing what you're going to do.
Yeah, so when I had my mock interview at the orientation, a lot of my questions were based off Israel questions, and I was like kind of put on the spot. And of course, like I do feel a certain way because I'm Jewish, and there's things that I believe in, like having a Jewish state. But just because you are pro one thing doesn't mean that it should take away from another thing. And I think that a lot of people don't realize that a lot of people like in the I don't know why my camera keeps moving. A lot of people that are in the current like situation that are actually involved in it, like most people just want peace. And I think that especially with everything going on college campuses right now, people are like the media, I feel like false information is coming
Yeah.
up, and it's just like it's scary, and people are kind of just using like, oh, I hate Israel, I'm anti this, I'm anti that, but they're kind of hating on Jewish people, and they're using it as a cover to hate on Jewish people. And so I just don't want like that hate to affect like the way that my platform is going to serve me.
Or we don't want that hate to change who you come out as, right?
Yes,
Or like what
100%.
you say, and like, and what that fear or that risk changes the words that we say. And that actually
Mhm.
kind of comes back into kind of that bias that we
Mhm.
did. If you were able to do that bias, implicit bias, sometimes we don't even know we're doing certain things. And when we are fearful and when we feel challenged, we act in a different way than we would if we felt totally confident and comfortable. And so I think,
Mhm.
you know, what we're talking about here is how do we, as leaders, how do we navigate those polarizations that we are going to experience as we take a stand in one way or another? And I think that that also really ties into difficult conversations. And so I'd love for us, first, what I want to do is I want to show you the activity of the difficult conversation so that you can see what we're going to be doing between now and maybe next week when we meet, or maybe in June when we meet again. So don't feel like you have to have this difficult conversation between now and the next time we meet. It's just, this is something that we're going to try and do. And then we're going to role play a little bit um, on selling a program page, or asking somebody for money to fundraise. And if you have experience, I'd love for you to start with, hey, this is how I did it last year, or this is how I've done it in the past. If you don't have experience, it's great for you to just listen to what other people have done. And this is a really great place for us to ask questions like, what happens when somebody hangs up on you? Or how do you navigate, you know, feeling like I'm asking the same people all the time, right? So I don't know if you've ever felt that way, but as a parent, when my kids are fundraising, I feel like, mom, dad, so like I feel like there is our core group of people that we always ask to do something for us. And how do we get out of feeling so comfortable asking them into that next world, out from beyond that? And I don't know if anybody's done any, it's like multi-level marketing. It's like MLS It's so there's one person. I'm going to share that in a minute so I can tell you a little bit from my experience how I've been able to sort of take my group and expand it out. Bailey, go for it.
I just wanted to make a comment about I'm sorry if I say your name wrong. Shirel?
Shriel, right?
Yeah, I am so sorry about that. Um, I am honestly shocked that your mock interviewers focused on that so much. And I want to apologize to you about that. And I just noticed a lot with this whole situation is that a lot of people are trying very hard to make the entire situation black and white so they can make it easier to pick sides and not realize how complicated the entire thing is. And I think your community service initiative helps a lot with that. So I just wanted to, I don't know, thank you for doing that because it's something that I think modern media is trying really hard to do. And I don't like it. So I'm glad you're kind of fighting against that.
Yeah. And that's the whole point of this group, right? Is to see each other as support and collaborators and help, like there's no better feeling than feeling like there's somebody else out there doing the same thing and you're working together towards it. So I really appreciate you saying that, Bailey, and also Shriel for sharing, so vulnerably with us. All right, so I'm gonna open up, let's see, it's this one here. Okay, difficult conversations. So the first thing when you are doing this activity is to list out a bunch of people that you know that you might have to have a difficult conversation with. And then once you have that list, look at that list and think about who you might be willing to have that conversation with. And here's something that I want you to know. People are not just automatically good at having difficult conversations. It's a skill that we have to practice. And it is hard. There is no doubt about having a difficult conversation is challenging. But the more often you do it and the more you start at like a level in which you feel comfortable. So I would say I have a friend and my friend has done something that kind of made me feel uncomfortable. And normally I'm just going to let that go because she's my friend and it's not a big deal. But if I don't have that kind of conversation, then when she does something that really hurts me, I'm less likely to do that because I haven't done that baby step. And I don't want to call it a baby step because it's really not a baby step. Anytime we have to have a difficult conversation, it's hard. But some conversations are a little bit easier than other ones. So if you avoid them, then it's going to be even harder the more people sort of challenge those feelings and make you feel less happy. And there are some really important skills when you're having these kind of conversations, and they're listed right here in number 4. So when the other person is talking, let them speak. I know I am married, and I will tell you that for the longest time in the beginning of my relationship, as soon as my husband and I were having an argument, I was already deciding what I was going to say to him. I didn't listen to the words that he was saying to me. And because I wasn't listening, I didn't hear what he was trying to communicate. And I said something back. And yes, it was connected, but it didn't matter in the conversation. So number 1, super hard, but really, really try and listen and not interrupt. The other thing is when they are done listening or when they're done speaking, repeat what you heard them say. So I'll use my husband again. Justin, what I heard you say was, la, 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 la. And he can say, yeah, that's pretty much it. Or actually, Lorraine, you missed this. I really wanted you to know this. And by listening and not interrupting and repeating what I heard, it makes that person know that I was listening. And we all know that we're already trying to decide what we're going to say. And even he has said, yeah, I'm already deciding what I'm going to say. So if you can take that step back and have to repeat what you heard them say, that disarms the other person from feeling defensive because you're not attacking them with another response. You're listening and you're repeating what you heard them say. And often we hear things so differently than what the person is actually saying to us. And so if you get to reflect back what you heard, then they can clarify and there's no misunderstanding. And that is why then we ask clarifying questions. What I heard you say was, he can say yes or he can say no. I'm curious why you said or you had this thought. I'm curious why you wanted me to do this, right? So clarify. And then, this is really hard, ask if you can share your thoughts because they may not matter to the other person. And so like you might leave feeling like, gosh, I didn't really get to say what I wanted to say, but that other person is like, wow, they listened. And that is really what matters. And it's really, really powerful. It's really hard. Number one, to ask to have this conversation. And then number two, to listen. It's really, really hard, but it's so, so important. So we're not going to really have, like, I hope none of us here have any conflict with each other yet or at all. But I'd love for us to sort of practice. You might have conflict with asking somebody for money, or you might have conflict or internal conflict of that, right? So I want to share what I learned. I was selling Arbonne for a while. And so the thing that they encourage you to do is they ask you to make a list of the people that you know. And then instead of asking that person for money, you ask them for 5 people that they know that they could introduce you to. Or can you get on a call with 5 people that you know, right? So it's like, here's my inner circle, but that inner circle has 5 people that they know that's in their inner circle. And that's a great way to take your circle and use them in a way to help build your circle bigger and not just pull consistently from that same circle. So, has anybody done fundraising like this before where you have to, I can't remember, what did they say you were raising money for? I thought I wrote it down. No. Do you guys know what you're raising money for?
Yeah, we're raising money for, I think, like, first we had to make like its profile for the Miss America Scholarship Foundation's collaboration with the American Heart Association. And
That's
then for
right.
selling ad pages, um we just, it's like how it's just like any kind of way to sell ads towards a program, but
Mhm.
the money that we make on the ads goes towards scholarships, and it can also, if we make a certain amount, we can get money back for our entry fee.
Yes. Yes.
And we
And
can
I was,
also do like, oh, sorry.
go for it. Keep going.
Um, and they have family and friends pages, and they also have business pages, and I've definitely noticed a difference in trying to uh reciprocate the like the beginning of that page, like getting it all started.
Okay. So the Heart Association, that we're trying to raise money for the Heart Association. So how has anybody tried to do this before, and do you have something that's worked or something that you've struggled with in trying to raise money? Yeah, Shriel, go for it.
So during my sorority philanthropy, we would raise money through social media, like Facebook, Instagram templates. It kind of just like our friends and family would see it and they would kind of like donate money. So that was kind of an easy way. But I did struggle a lot with asking people for money because I don't like pressuring people and making them feel like they have to do something. But that's what we did. Yeah.
Okay. Savannah, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm just gonna kind of go back to what I was saying with the selling the ad pages. So this is my second year competing. We did this last year. Or this is my I was planning to compete in 2022 and then I took a year off. So technically I say this is my second, but it was my third. And I think the idea was introduced last year. And I had never like that was my first experience with that. So I didn't really know how to approach it appropriately. Um and even just asking my family members, but I didn't know, like, I had no idea how to go after it and ask without sounding like I'm just begging for money. And
Yeah.
even if I do explain the reason why and what the money is going for. So last year, I I tried to like just kind I use my family as a resource when I come to like talking things out. Like I usually they're always there when I need to like vent. And I was just talking to them about last year, like how the process is going, and they're like, "Oh, let me just save you the time." And they just donated like a quarter page, and they just said like they left a message, and they ended the quote with "your family," not any really specific names, but just "your family." And um, this year, like or last year, I looked at all the other girls and their ad pages, and I mean, I know it's not a competition for the
Yeah.
program, but it did seem a lot more heartfelt. And I was thinking, I'm like, if I can't get anyone to, or if I don't know how to approach a getting names in a program book as like someone competing for Miss Main's team, how am I gonna be able to, you know, get things going as Miss Main's team if I were to win? And but this
I like
year,
this. I think I have I'd love to spin what you just said and make sure that we all heard that. If we're having a hard time doing this, how are we going to be able to walk in and do Miss Maine, right? So like let's use this as our practice. So I would love for you guys to think about as you go, you are consumers in a lot of places. You go to get coffee, you go pick up a meal, you go shopping, you buy, anytime you walk into a store and you buy something, think of this as an exchange opportunity. Hey, I'm coming in, I'm buying a bagel this morning. Is there somebody that I can talk to about buying an ad in our program that's coming up for Miss Maine? Or, and really thinking about that, like list the people that you know, right? Make a list of 10 people. And instead of asking those 10 people for money for the Heart Association, let's ask them to ask 5 people that they know, right? And so then they don't have to donate. They're just connecting you to somebody else. So those would be my suggestions. Does anybody else, Reese or Bailey, let's see, somebody else, and Johanna, do you guys have any other ideas or questions or ways that you might do this? Bailey?
So I really think social media is great because uh not only can you share it or ask other people to share it, but you can include the information about what it is and why you want to raise
Yeah.
money for it. And I remember last year we weren't raising money for the Heart Association per se, but we were raising money for the ads and then something else. And when I was asking for money for the other thing, that was so much easier for me because I was like, hey, we're doing this, it's going to help these people, please donate to see how it'll help them. Whereas with the ad pages, I was like, hey, would you mind maybe, I don't know, potentially you don't have to giving me a couple bucks so I can put a picture of my face in the magazine, but like, if you don't want to, that's fine. So I personally had a really hard time with the ad pages. But another thing that helped me was, you already mentioned this, asking people who want to help you to ask other people to want to help you. So I would ask my family and friends, and then my family would ask their family and friends, and then my friends would ask their family and friends. And it ended up being very helpful. Not many people donated a lot of money, but a lot of people donated money, which added up. So that was just
Yeah.
my.
The other thing that I keep wondering, don't see the ads as something for you. Like, yes, it is. There is an incentive for you, but it's still raising money for the scholarship, right? And so really reframe what the goal is. The goal is, yeah, it'd be cool to be the winner, to get the most program pages, but there's still that nonprofit that you're supporting. No, it's not the American Heart Association, and people don't know it as much, but the main scholarship foundation, that's a nonprofit, and there's a lot that goes into the scholarship foundation. So reframing the focus of why you're trying to sell those pages, it's not something for you, right? So maybe that'll make it a little easier. Because when Bailey was talking, I was like, oh yeah, that would feel a little bit like crummy, because you're like, I'm asking you for something for me. But really it's not. It's supporting the whole foundation. And yes, there's incentive for you, but it's not like, that's not the ultimate goal. And so before we sign off, because our hour is almost up, it goes so fast. I just want to share that there also is the opportunity to interview a leader in this next session, what we're doing between now and the next time we meet. And there are questions for you to prompt. So I know that this might be a really good opportunity for you guys to do a little bit more of practicing having an interview for the pageant and thinking about like and I want to just say, I want to reflect to all of you that I think the conversations that we're having here, the things that you're talking about with me here, are all things that I think would be fantastic for you to talk about when you are in that experience. And so when we are here, when we are doing these things, feel the opportunity to have and share is only going to make you a stronger candidate when you're in that space. And I have never been on a pageant or anything like that, but you're all starting to show me a lot more confidence and courage in a lot of these things. So I just wanted to reflect that to all of you. And then we will meet again next week. Remember, you don't have to have everything done before next week, but see if you can, between now and next week, try and make that challenge of calling a couple people, putting it on social media, making that list of 10 people and asking those 10 people to connect you to 5 more people so that you can have a conversation. And the next time you go into a store, an actual store, make the ask, I'm here. I'd love to share a little bit about this opportunity. It is an opportunity for them to have their spot in the program. It's an advertisement for them. It is a great way to get their business in front of other people. And have a great week. Thank you so much, you guys. Really great to have you here today.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Take care.
Thank you. Thank you. See you later.
Thank you.
Bye.
Did you ask for something halfway through your meeting?